place. So we'll see what zones we get here, if it'll be a little bit more easy for them to rotate through. But nonetheless, from Fragment East, you do have a slight advantage because you're relatively central to the map. And when TSM played on Kings Canyon and found so much success early on in ALG and Apex Legends, they played in the cage where they found easy rotations on Kings Canyon. They do the same thing here on World's Edge. The reason they like to play center of map, well, they can be the first team to rotate, and it works out well for them. But we'll see what zones they get here as we take a look at the drop map and see where teams are falling.
Yeah, absolutely. Back in the day when there was Kings Canyon and with the old zoning, it was way easier to predict where the zone was going to go. But now they can even scan Beacon and be in a 50-50 of, do I go this way or do I go that way? And rotating with their comp isn't easy. Their comp is built for fighting their way in, but if they're caught in a rough position, then unfortunately they'll fall. And back in the day, there wasn't a Valk. We have a few Valk teams here today that have the easiest rotations because they could just fly over everyone and inspect what's the safest place to land.
Yeah, that's a great point. Valk obviously shaked up the competitive meta quite a bit. Obviously, rotations had to be very hard fought and earned. You had to work your way through. You had to either rotate early or you could play edge. Now with Valkyrie, you can get a quick rotation. That's one of the benefits of Valkyrie, which has been really fun to see how the meta has been shaken up. But we haven't seen a whole lot of Valkyrie rotations so far. In EMEA yesterday, same thing was true. I thought we'd see a little bit more coming out of Valk, but so far, a few teams playing Valkyrie for some crucial rotations. Nothing too crazy yet.
And nothing too crazy. And some of the Valk teams, once they do rotate, they end up dying, as we've seen last game. We've seen a team die exactly right above ESA Black's head right now. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it can get you through those choke points, those holds. There has been zones known before where, you hold this choke and everybody dies in this choke, but now it's not the case. There's the Octane jump pad as well that could get you through a choke. There's a Wraith portal that could get you through a choke, and Valk could also fly your team through a choke. So there's so many different possibilities for these teams.
That's right. So we take a look at some of our top teams so far. ESA Black finding a lot of success. Well, that shows why. Thermal Station, a great drop spot, especially for a team like ESA Black that likes to be a little bit more on the fighter side. They are, again, if you can break teams down into two categories, fighters and survivalists, if you will. ESA Black is certainly a fighting squad. They like to play aggressive. Metro on controller likes to get into any single fight that they possibly can. Coming from Thermal Station, you can play edge, and you can play that way. Meanwhile, my little phony, they've been pretty much controlling the north side of the map, obviously with complexity not in this lobby. That gives them a lot more flexibility, and a big part of why they found success. 2 purple shields right now for Phonyhead and Rambo, former member of Flashpoint alongside Kubsky and co. That Flashpoint squad has been solid for a while, made a roster change though, and so far so good for Rambo.
Yeah, and the point of having this loadout is the Crypto can scan the beacons, and the Octane jump pads are really good for rotating fast. So they're on their way to the zone, trying to find... They're a little bit more of a, I would say, a passive team until late game. They want to find that placement, they want to find that perfect spot, and then once they find the right opportunity, they will push you.
That's right. And speaking of different legend comps, just a quick note for everyone watching, you'll find every single team has a recon legend for the most part, right? Recon legend being the legends that can scan beacons. It's so important to get this exact view that we see right now. The second zone coming through, because you know where to rotate through, you know which buildings to get to quick. And for that reason, every single team comp usually consists of, again, recon legend, whether it's Bloodhound, Crypto, Valkyrie, or the like. No, rest in peace, Pathfinder. We miss you in competitive Apex. But then you also have kind of a tip of the spear, a high mobility type of legend like a Wraith. So, back last season we saw a lot of Horizon. And then, of course, Gibraltar is a defensive player. You need that defensive legend as well. Gibraltar obviously being crucial. Every single team on display so far running Gibraltar today.
Yeah, Gibraltar just is really good for early game fights, mid game fights, and late game, because you're at a real disadvantage late game if you don't have a bubble and everyone else does. You're just going to die for free. I really like the comp, Gibraltar, Valk, and Octane. Caustic. There's only a few Caustics, but I really like the comp because you can rotate with it, and you can also hold down buildings with it. And we're not seeing a lot of Watson anymore. We're not seeing a lot of Caustic. So the few Caustics that are in the game have an advantage over others because their defense is much far superior than anyone else's.
Yeah, brilliantly said. And we saw that actually come to fruition last game, right, with Kangarna, aka bottom 20, playing with Caustic and finding a lot of success in the building towards the southeast or southwest side of the map. Obviously so difficult to fight against Caustic in an enclosed area, and for that reason, despite the nerf to Caustic, we still see a good amount of Caustic in play. 4 teams today leveraging Caustic, I believe. We saw 4 teams overall yesterday do the same, as 2 Brains, 1 Controller find themselves in a skirmish alongside Train Tracks here.
The Crypto Ultimate did go through, and they did not push off of it, so now they don't have it anymore, and they might want to play a little bit safer. And better safe than sorry, you know what I mean? And he will scout indeed with the drone. They will be okay for now, and they're gonna scout through the tunnel.
That's right, they got a team lurking nearby, and they're just playing this really smart, really cautious, making sure that they don't get sandwiched. And you know, we always say, shout out to my man Hodzik, in a meat sandwich, you want to be the bread, you don't want to be the meat in a game of Apex Legends. You don't want to get caught fighting a 2-front war, much like the Axis in the World Wars, as now we'll see as 2 Brains 1 Controller just avoids that situation. On board with another crypto here, a lot of crypto at play as we jump on board with Sentinels, the kings of Sorting Factory. This has been their drop spot for quite some time, and so far Sentinels has been looking good.
Yeah, they've been holding this spot for many months now, and I believe in scrims they were getting 50-50'd in another lobby, but this lobby they have it all to themselves, so they have nothing to worry about. They're used to holding these surrounding areas, and they're very comfortable with it. Having a charge rifle Spitfire, they have the guns to shoot people at range, so once all the teams come throughout the game, they'll be able to get some kills surrounding them, for sure.
Right, we see 2 Brains, 1 Controller, still in the same position within Train Tracks. It's not often you kind of you post up within Train Tracks as your kind of spot to be. And this will be kind of a low-key listen in, but let's go ahead and jump into a listen in with 2 Brains, 1 Controller, see what their thoughts are on this rotation.
Future, I'll worry about this one.
I'm watching it right now.
Outside of the drone, yeah. Zone in 10.
Alright, I'm not watching it anymore.
I'll watch it.
I'll
I'll
watch it.
Alright, so you.
Oh, fuck. Yes, let's go.
Okay, we try to focus this side. Literally just focus on this side. That's a good zone for us, right?
But think like,
Bad.
you have to. Teams can still go here. Like, a team like Octane Pad just try to force it. We need to be worried of that.
Yeah.
Or Volcult.
He might try and fight us from sorting. It shouldn't.
And you should play on this hug glitch right here. Like just closer up. And slurp the soldier back.
Okay.
They bubble, I'll EMP them. So yeah, just throw a pad back. Yeah, it's good. Pretty sure this is the one that ends right out here or pulls back to here.
Yep.
There you have. Nice chill listening right there. A little different than the crazy comms on late game rings in that scenario, but good to get the perspective of the crypto team playing for the quick recon. They were waiting for the zone to finish so they can get that recon scan, and you heard them kind of planning out what their next move is, girl.
20 squads left, Fallout. There's 20 squads left. No one has died this game so far. And this is a really nice zone because there's so many buildings. There's so many levels to some of the buildings. There's a lot of area to play it safe. And that's why there's so many teams alive as of now. And they've made their predictions. They're very comfortable in the tunnel. They do not want to go anywhere. But the thing about holding the tunnel is they have to watch both sides. So we're going to see a lot of passive gameplay, bless you, throughout until the zone gets to zone 3 and 4.
That's right. And girl, I'm an expert. I'm a pro, so I muted myself so the stream couldn't hear the sneeze. But I appreciate the bless you. Nonetheless, thank you so much. If everyone's wondering why girl just randomly said bless you, that's why. As we're watching Kanaka's Pets currently at Harvester. And here's what's interesting, girl. These two team comps that we just saw, Bloodhound as the recon legend for TSM, Bloodhound as the recon legend for Kanaka's Pets. Neither of them have the mobility of a Crypto to get a scan. So neither TSM nor Kanaka's Pets have the intel that, for example, we saw earlier from Tech & Co. to understand which, where the zone's going to be pulling towards, where to rotate. That's another crucial reason that Crypto is obviously so valuable in these mid to late games.
Absolutely. The Cryptos just know more than anyone else. But AMV here, they're playing the edge of zone. They're playing Harvester side. One of the few teams playing Harvester side right now. So if they were to get into a fight right now, there may not even be a third party. As long as too many of them don't go down. There's just one team across from them. We see Duplex in the distance, 173 meters away. A little bit of poke, but it's going to be passive from here.
That's right. Girls, things are slowing down here. Obviously, like you said, and you said it brilliantly, based on where the zone is, a lot of levels to the geography and a lot of buildings to kind of post up in. But as things are slowing down a little bit, talk to me a bit about what weapons we typically see in the mid-game and what weapons we see in the late game, why that somewhat differs, and kind of what's hot right now in terms of current meta.
So mid-game, you're going to see people use a lot of long-range weapons like the R301. The Flatline is really popular right now. The Spitfire is really popular right now. Any type of sniper, so Charge Rifle is really great for leveling up your Evo Shield early game, but you don't want to Charge Rifle late game. So the reason why competitive players, pro players, change their weapons to more short range, because the fights are rather short. You're going to have a lot of bubble fights, so you're going to have a lot of shotguns on a lot of players. As you see here, Senox has a Charge Rifle for leveling up the Evo Shields, but also has an EVA 8, because late game, almost everyone wants a shotgun, and you see there Mastiff Volt is very close range as well. Flatline, I believe for myself, anyways, that the Flatline is so good close range. Just almost compares to an EVA 8. I believe that EVA 8 and Flatline are probably my favorites.
Yeah, lower recoil, better hip fire than the Spitfire. So I agree with that. EVA 8 right now is so incredibly strong. Great point. And you're right. I think we'll see the Charge Rifle in the hands of Sentinels get probably swapped out in favor of maybe an R99 and maybe a Flatline for that late game if they can. Meanwhile, we're getting some emotes here. All right, Rocker. NRG put on a show right now, entertaining. There's a little bit of a. I'm blanking on. Someone needs to help me out here. In Australia, it starts with an H. Rugby teams do this when they're trying to intimidate their opponents. Someone help me. Girl, you don't know what I'm talking about, do you? It's a haka.
Sorry,
Thank you.
I don't.
Parallax Stella coming in the clutch. It's a haka. That's it. That's what we saw right there from Gibraltar.
I don't know anything about sports, only esports. So I can tell you about Apex.
You've never seen the clip of the All Blacks in Australia doing a haka. You've never seen that, but you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No.
Oh my
Absolutely
gosh.
not. I could tell you a little bit about Dota or Call of Duty, but I can't tell you anything about the Haka.
And she's never seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, by the way. She's literally 0 for 2. We're going to add this to the list of things we got to educate girl on.
I don't know too much about life besides gaming.
Hey, the commitment to gaming and esports is awesome, though. I respect it tremendously. Big shout out to Girl. By the way, if y'all don't watch Girl's streams, Girl, former professional Apex player, competed in ALGS before joining us on the caster's desk and analyst desk for ALGS, and of course a full-time streamer for ALGS. Make sure to follow Girl. Girls, your Twitch is just Girl or is it Hey Girl?
Oh, it's Girl. It's Girl. Thank you, Paul.
GUHRL. I'm giving you a quick plug. You deserve it.
GUHRL. Also on YouTube. Back to Apex Legends and this game in specific. I don't know if you noticed earlier, but it pulls so hard towards tree. So NRG might think that they're going to be okay in the spot because they're complete center map, but they will have to rotate a distance.
That's right. And we'll see, obviously, as these zones are going to close in here. Finally, fights will break out here. Of course, teams are going to kind of scurry out of their hiding spots, and this is what results. Blur Flavors, his Watson, and Sung currently relying on a bubble to survive, but obviously not going to be able to use that for long as Sentinels is right above. I believe the Sentinels are another squad right above them. Good thing they have Valkyrie. The get out of jail card, obviously in a tough situation. Combination of the Gibraltar Dome plus Valkyrie's ult gives them a great opportunity. They, of course, have 20 to 30 seconds to sit on a high pert and prove out their spot as they rotate. That's the benefit of Valkyrie here. Meanwhile, TSS not having as much luck. They actually are going to get taken out on the rotation. Did not work out there. So far, we're 0 for 2 with Valkyrie. Ults Girl have not worked out in their favor.
No, it has not. And they were the first team eliminated in this whole game. So like I said, zone 3 and 4, that's when, yep.
Ring 4, the first squad. We are 19 squads in Ring 4 going into Ring 5. That is insane.
It is insane, and almost half of the teams are in Sorting Factory or near Sorting Factory right now. So they're going to have to rotate, and this is where, so the strategy for these teams, if they don't believe that they can rotate safely, some of them have Valk, like we see here with bottom 20, they'll be able to rotate, but some of the teams that don't think they'll be able to rotate will go for kill points, will go for placement, but it's going to be hard. You want to be either like the last person to rotate or the first person to rotate and hold everyone out, because if you're in the middle of the pack, you're going to get third-partied either way.
That's right. That's why we talk so often about fast rotating teams, and different teams like to play differently. Again, if you have a Bloodhound comp, you're going to play a little bit slower to rotate because you like to play edge. But teams that play fast on their rotate typically are the ones that are going to get rewarded because they're going to try and predict the zones and they'll get positioned first. But back to that Valkyrie ult. We're 0 for 2 with Valkyrie ults here. We'll pause on that for now because TSM finds himself in a huge fight. This is crucial right now for TSM. They're in between two teams. We talked about not wanting to be the meat of the sandwich, and Snipe Down just barely is going to get shot on his toe. He gets knocked here, so it's going to be all up to Reps and Imperial Hal to keep him alive. Great nade's going to come through, getting Joey Blackout tagged up quite significantly. Snipe Down gets revived, and just like that, TSM back to 3 alive, but they're still not out of dodge.
It's perfect decision making by TSM. Although they had someone down, they were holding the angle so they weren't getting pushed, because once you have someone down, you know the team's going to think about pushing you. He held that down perfectly while they got the revive off, and now they're all up. Moving on to Renegades, doing that rotation, they see squads left and right and will decide to land on the high ground. That team might be able to see them, but oh, they have a real safe spot if they hold the back wall, which is perfect for them.
And we saw a team hold this in game 2. Renegades will hold it again here in game number 4. Meanwhile, My Little Phony currently alive after a really, really good start. They took home first place. They're on a rotation. Octane jump pad's going to come through. All teams frantically running here, scurrying, as actually a flank on NRG is going to be hit. NRG could be in a scary spot here. Team right behind them. Rambo's going to knock one. Rollers gets knocked. Phonyhead knocks another on Aves. The kill feed is absolutely lighting up. The ranked is harder right now. TSM Snipe Down knocks Duplex as well. It is absolute madness, and this is what happens when you have 19 squads still alive in Ring 4, girl.
My Little Phony just got pushed by the likes of CLG, and they actually clean wiped them and are the kill leaders holding on right now. It went from 19 squads to 12 squads remaining, so people are going down fast. Sentinels also in a 3v3 fight and finish that one off. Ranked is harder is now out, and Sentinels are holding that spot that they always do. They're doing okay. So the pull went from tree and moved back towards Sorting Factory. So some teams did not know this, but the teams that did go tree will have to rotate back, and they might actually be in danger. Right now, CLG looks like they have the best spot because they're more mid-map, but we'll see as the zone closes.
That's right, NRG down to 2 members alive, I believe, and you said it, Sentinels in their same spot that they used as the win condition to win game number 2. We'll see if they'll have the same fate here in game number 4. ESA Black still alive. Metro, talked about him earlier, what a story. Former collegiate NCAA Division I football player, turned Apex Legends professional player, playing alongside Six, former member of the Pittsburgh Knights alongside Turns, and the one, the only Hodsick. Way back in the Apex Legends preseason invitational, Six also has won a championship alongside Nicewig in ALGS. And of course, they're joined with Panders, former teammate of Tech for a very long time. I like this squad a lot, girl. I like their makeup. Recently, of course, signed and representing ESA Black.
They're performing very well today, and there we go. We see one of the Valk ults go through Renegades, trying to look for a spot. They're hovering in the air for as long as possible, waiting for other teams to fight. Force in the kill feed down Sweet with a Kraber. He's been absolutely dominating with the Kraber this game. 10 squads left. They did find a safe spot. Are they going to third party nearby? Reps taking down Mo Chances. TSM in a big, big fight. Snipe Down taking down one. They take down the whole squad, but they're getting third party. Snipe Down absolutely beams another one. Can he clutch this one out? The Bloodhound skin goes through. Does he we see the last person alive. It's a Cossack. It's a Cossack. He's going in with everything he's got here. The scout comes through and he clutches it. Absolutely crazy clutch by Snipe Down. But oh my goodness, there's more, and they're shooting them from left, right, and the top. And he goes out, but he goes out with a bang.
And that is a massive 1v1 right there for Snipe Down. Not only did he get the 1 kill point, but picked up the other 2 as well. Became the kill leader with 5. Girl, you called that brilliantly. Snipe Down goes out. TSM goes down in 4th, but a great effort right there from the controller god himself. Former Halo professional, turned Apex Legends pro in Snipe Down. Massive, massive plays. Metro last alive here for ESA Black. 4 squads remain. TSM got 5th. I stand corrected. It all comes down to these last 4 squads. 4 points on a square right now to close this one out on our final zone. That'll be closing in. If you take a look at the top left of your screen, that line at the top left will show you exactly where this zone is going to close out to. It's going to be a crazy finish here, girl.
It is going to be a crazy finish indeed, and we still have a Valk squad remaining. CLG still in this with many, many kills. Free shots on the team in front of them. Euban goes down to Pow Pow on Renegades, and they're just picking up those kill points. The zone is moving in very slowly.
CLG, you called it earlier, girl. Probably the best position to win this, and you were spot on. They are currently sitting with high ground, but keep in mind, they will have to drop and they will have to rotate. At this point, this is anyone's game. CLG, one of the best pound-for-pound skirmishing or fighting teams in the game. 3 incredibly skilled players. Lou, probably one of the best individual skilled players in North America, alongside Nathan, Imperial Hal, and others. Let's see what they have here. Great long-range shots going to put in. That's going to be huge for them, giving them the advantage in this fight to start. I got to think this is CLG's game to win here, girl.
Yeah, sometimes it's not good to be the last person to drop down, but it actually is really good because Lou does have his bubble. They have portal, but they're not going to need to use it. They're going to be the last team to throw bubble down, so they're going to have to find a nice spot. They're going to choose the right. They're going to bubble down here on the right. Yep. And there's going to be teams about to fight because they don't have bubbles anymore.
They got to be careful for the Valk team that just dropped from above. Here we go. Last 2 squads remain. CLG will clean up. And just like that, Counter Logic Gaming will be your winner of game number 4. A huge and borderline must-win game for them in 8th place with 20 points. They go huge with quite a few kill points as well, girl, and 12 points for first. That is going to be a massive game for CLG.
It is a massive game indeed. And like I was saying, like normally it's not good to be on the high ground because once you jump, you're going to get stunned and the team under you is going to kill you. But luckily for them, the high ground was in for so long, the team under them couldn't stay there and everyone else used their bubbles beforehand. So they played